Hi, welcome to my video on review number 1 of exponential functions. This review is on the videos 1 to 13. And as in all my reviews, you can treat it as a quiz and give yourself a score. And this one is out of 48. So what you do, you can stop the video on each page, answer all the questions, give yourself a mark, and total up the bottom of the page. And when you get it all done, total up all the pages and put it out of 48. So let's start the review. Again, the questions are made out in the same sequence as the videos. Simplify each, numbers 1 to 4. To simplify, I need the same base, and the exponent rule is when you're multiplying, you add the exponents. So x, add on x is 2x, plus 6 minus 1 is a plus 5. If you have that, give yourself a mark. Notice here we have the same bases, but we have a power of a power. So we should do the power first. So 4 times x, 4x. 4 times 2 is negative 8, divided by 3x minus 11. And when we're dividing, with the same bases, we have to have the same bases, we subtract the exponents. So it's 4x minus 8. We're subtracting, so it's a negative x plus 11. So that gives us 3 to the 3x plus 3. If you have 3 to the 3x plus 3, give yourself a mark. And here we're going to multiply this through, so we get 4x cubed plus 8x to the 4th. So 4x to the 5, sorry, because 2 plus 3 is 5, and a minus 4, I gotta make sure I do it right now, and 2 times negative 1 is 1. And if you have that, give yourself a mark. And here we have to simplify this, but we should write it with the same bases first, because if it don't, we can't really do it. What base is 81 got? The 27 has a 3. So 81 is 9 times 9, which is 3 to the 4th. 9 times 9 is 3 squared times 3 squared, so that's 3 to the 4th. So let's do the same bases first. 27 is 9 times 3, so it's 3 cubed. So we have the same bases, now we have a power of a power, so that's 3. 4 times 2x is 8x. 4 times 3 is 12. 3 times x is 3x. 3 times 2 is 6. And because of the same bases, and we're dividing, we'll subtract. So it's 8x plus 12, subtract 3x minus 6. And 8x subtract 3x is 5x. 12 minus 6 is 6. So if you have 3 to the 5x plus 6, give yourself a mark. Now let's move on to solving equations. Notice the same bases. Since they have the same bases, we let the exponents equal each other. Now we solve this linear equation, so we move the x's to the left and the numbers to the right. When we move them, we change the signs. 8x equals negative 16. Divide by 8, x is negative 2. So if you have a negative 2, give yourself a mark. And the total on that page is 5. Okay, let's continue. Don't forget to pause the video. Now we want to work this one out, and we need the same basis. There's a 2 here, so we should be able to express all these with this base of 2. So 8 is going to be a 2 cubed. 32 is 2 to the 5. 32 is 4 times 8, and there's 5 2's. And 1/4 is 1 over 2 squared, which is 2 to the negative 2. So I've put them all with the same basis. Now that I have, I'm going to work out the powers of the power, just get a single. So 3 times x plus 2 is 3x plus 6. This is the power of power, so 5 times x, 5x. And again, a power of a power, so I have a 4. Negative 2 times negative 2 is 4. Now, we simplify each side first. So we have a basis of 2, so we add. So x plus 3x is 4x. Negative 3 plus 6 is plus 3. And because we're dividing, we subtract. So it's 5x subtract 4. We can't simplify that because they're not like terms. Now that I have the same basis, 4x plus 3 equals 5x minus 4. And it's a linear equation now, so I move the x's to the left and the numbers to the right. So negative x equals negative 7 divided by negative 1, and x is equal to 7. So there's 4 marks for this. So if you did this step right here, you give yourself a mark. If you simplified it to right here, you give yourself a mark. If you let the exponents equal, you give yourself a mark, and if you got 7. So 4 marks in total. And don't forget to pause your video. Now we have to simplify this. We got a 4th root and a cube root. What we should do is simplify inside the roots first. So let's go with 27 is 3 cubed. This 9 is 3 squared. Notice this base is 3, so there's a possibility that this one is going to have a base of 3. So we'll leave that alone for a second. And we'll simplify the inside fully before we do the roots. So this is 3. 3 times 2x is 6x. And 2 times x minus 2 is 2x minus 4. Now that we have each of them simplified, notice now we're dividing, so we subtract. So 6x subtract 2x plus 4. And that simplifies. Let's go up here. That's the cube root of 3. So 6x minus 2x is 4x plus 4. Okay. Now that we have fully simplified, this is a cube root. So this is 3. Oh, I said a cube root. Oh, see the mistake I made? 4th root, 4th root. That's a 4th root, not a cube root. Sorry about that. So that's 3 to the 4x plus 4 divided by 4. That's a 1, so this is 3 to the 1 over 3. That's a 1, so it's the root goes on in your denominator. And that becomes 4x plus 4 divided by 4 is x plus 1. Both of them have the same basis, so that means that x plus 1 equals 3. And it's a linear, so move the 1 to the right, make a minus. And 1/3 is the same as 3 over 3. Common denominator is 3. So that's negative 2/3. And assign the marks. So if you ended up with simplifying these to right, it's 3 marks. So if you simplify right to here, you get a mark. If you made these equal, you got a mark. And if you got the final answer, you got a mark. So 3 marks altogether. Number 8, 2, 6, 18, 54 is a geometric sequence. Find its equation as Tn equals n T1 times r to the n minus 1. So the equation is T1 is the first term, so T1 is equal to 2. Now we need to get the ratio. So the ratio is 6 divided by 2 is 3. And then the other ratio is 18 divided by 6 is 3. So we can see that the ratio is 3. So r is 3. So the equation is Tn equals T1 is 2. And the ratio is 3 to the n minus 1. And notice that this is a sequence. So n, just to remind you, n belongs to the natural numbers. We can't plug a 0 in because this is a 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is T1, T2, T3, T4. So n belongs to the natural numbers. So if you have that, you have a mark. If you have the ratio, you have a mark. If you wrote down this equation, you have a mark, 3 marks altogether. So the total for that page is 10. Okay, here we go. Keep working these out. Again, it's reviewing the videos in order. Find the fourth term of this expression, equation, Tn, 80 times half raised to the n minus 1. So the fourth term means is T4. So n is 4. So we'll put 4 in the place of n. 80. 4 minus 1 is 3. And 1/2 cubed is 1/2 times 1/2 times 1/2 is 1/8. And 8 into 80 goes 10. So if you have 10, the fourth term is 10. And number 10, the graph Tn equals 2 to the n minus 1. So when we're graphing this, we have to remember that the n belongs to the natural numbers. We can only use the natural numbers, and the natural numbers you can't have a 0 because this is in terms of a sequence, in terms of the terms in a sequence. So we have an n and a Tn. So we start with the natural numbers. We start with 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5, etc. So we put 1 in this equation. 1 minus 1 is 0. 2 to the 0 is 1. Put 2 in. 2 minus 1 is 1. 2 to the 1 is 2. Put 3 in. 3 minus 1 is 2. 2 squared is 4. Notice this is a doubling. Put 4 in. 4 minus 1 is 3. 2 cubed is 8. So the next one would be 16. But notice now, the natural numbers, we use the natural numbers. So 1 gives us a 1. 2, when n is 2, we get 2. When n is 3, 3 gives us a 4. 4 gives us an 8. And then we get the 16 after, and that's way up here. Pretend I'm just going up here, just anywhere. And notice I can't make this a solid. I can't shade these in because in a sequence, the data, let's go down here, is the graph discrete or continuous? And it's discrete. In other words, the data is a bunch of dots because we can only graph the natural numbers. We can't graph a half. We can't graph 0 when n is 0 or n is -1 or n is -2. We can't graph between 1 and 2 because we can only use the natural numbers. So it's a bunch of dots, so it's discrete. The domain is the set of natural numbers because it's a sequence, because we got Tn is the terms of a sequence. And the range, we have to write the range on the set of all Tn such that Tn equals 2 to the n minus 1, where n belongs to the natural numbers. So, why we wrote this down? Because these are all the values, once we put the values of n in, these are all dots and they continue on. And the only way you can name all these is by writing down the equation for the range. Number 11, a string 270 feet long is cut into 3 equal pieces, lengths. Then each is cut into 3 equal lengths, etc. And what's the first 4 terms? We have a 270. Cut into 3 equal pieces, so divide by 3, you get a 90. Cut into 3 equal pieces, you get a 30. Cut into 3 equal pieces, you get a 10. And we can continue on that. So notice that this is similar to a sequence, so it's Tn, T1, R, n minus 1. So Tn, let's see, the first term, T1, is 270. And the ratio is 90 divided by 270 is, zeros cancel, 1 over 3. And 30 divided by 90, zeros cancel, is 1/3. So the ratio is 1/3. So the first term is 270, ratio is 1/3 to the n minus 1. So you get, for the sequence, you get a mark. For the first term, you get a mark. For the ratio, you get a mark. For the equation, you get a mark. 4 marks altogether. And total up your page, you have total of 10. And don't forget, if you, right here, if you did this table, you get a mark. If you did the graph, you get a mark with the dots. And for each of these, you get a mark, so 5 marks here. 10 altogether. And let's continue. State the base of b of y equals b to the x, which is an exponential function. The base of an exponential function is always, b is always greater than 0, and b cannot be 1. Every exponential function we do, the base is always greater than 0 and not 1. Give yourself a mark. Now, there was a video which I looked at certain asymptotes, so this one is going to review that. For each, state the type of asymptote as horizontal, vertical, or oblique, and state the equation of the asymptote. Number 1, this is a horizontal asymptote because that's y equals 1, so it's horizontal. And it's a horizontal asymptote, so it's y equals 1. Notice the graph is getting closer. As x goes to infinity, y is going to 1. Now, this is a vertical asymptote. Vertical is, the asymptote is, notice in this graph, there's a broken line at 2. So it's vertical asymptote is x equals, and it's x equals 2. Notice the graph is getting, as x approaches 2 on the left, this graph is getting closer and closer to 2. And in this one we have 2 asymptotes. One is oblique, but the equation of the oblique is, it's a line, so let's look at the slope of the line. The slope of this line is, the y-intercept is 0, so now the slope is, if you rise to get to the next point is right there, and the other point is, so if you rise 1, 2, so the rise is 2, and the run is 1, so the slope is 2. The y-intercept, which is the b, is 0. So the equation of the asymptote is y equals 2x plus 0, which is y equals 2x. That's the oblique asymptote. But there's also a horizontal asymptote as, write that down in a minute. The horizontal asymptote is y equals 0, right along there. So it has an oblique asymptote and a horizontal asymptote. And these asymptotes will be discussed in the math as we go further. So if you get the 2 of these right, 2 marks, 2 of these right, 2 marks. If you get the 4 of these, 4 marks. State the base of the exponential decay curve. The exponential decay curve, the base is 0 is less than b less than 1. A decay curve always has the base between 0 and 1. State the base of a growth curve. The base is always greater than 1. Remember, the base of an exponential function is greater than 0 and not 1. But we can have the bases between 0 and 1 to be a decay, bases greater than 1 to be a growth. Give yourself a mark for each of these. And the domain for every exponential function is always, the domain is always x belongs to the reals. And number 17, is this equation, does this equation represent a growth or a decay? Well, we have a negative x, so let's remove the negative x. And the negative flips the fraction to a 3 reciprocal, and we move the negative does the reciprocal of 1/3, 3, make it positive. Now the base is 3, and that means the base is 3, the base is greater than 1, so we have a growth curve. Give yourself a mark. 13 for that page. And a couple more questions to end off the videos. It says if the f of 1 equals 3 and the f of negative 2 equals 24, find the equation in terms of f of x equals ab to the x. So if the f of 1 equals 3, so the f of 1, we're putting x is 1, we're putting 1 in here, so that means a b to the 1. So that means a b equals 3. F of 1 equals 3 and the f of 1 equals ab, so ab must be 3. Now let's look at this one. The f of negative 2, we're going to put x is negative 2, so it's a b to the negative 2. So that means that a b to the negative 2 is equal to 24. So now we have the two equations. We can simplify the equations, and we take this equation and make it a, b. So because b is to the negative 2, so that's 1 over b squared. So it's a over b squared equals 24. Because we have a fraction, we put it over 1 cross multiply. 1 times a is a, and we got 24b squared. But what we have here is a is 3, and we have a, we can let's call this equation 1 and call this equation 2. So let's sub a equals 24b squared into number 1. So let's take this and sub in here. So we got a, b equals 3. So a is 24b squared, b equals 3. So I'm taking a and subbing it in here. There it is right there. So that's 24b cubed equals 3. So b cubed divided by 24. So b cubed is 1 over 8. So that means that we can do the cube root. So the cube root of b cubed equals the cube root of 1/8. So the cube root of b cubed is cubed. The cube root of 1/8 is 1 over 2. So we have b to be 1 over 2. So let's go over here. If a, b equals 3, b is 1/2. So I'm going to take the half and sub into equation, this is equation 1. So we have 1/2 a equals 3. Multiply both sides by 2. 2 times a half is a. 2 times 3 is 6. So the equation is y equals a, b to the x. A is 6. B is 1/2. So that's the equation that represents the f of 1 equals 3. And just check. Take the f of 1, put a 1 in here. Half to the 1 is a half. 6 times a half is 3. And if you put a negative 2 in here, negative 2 to the 1/2, 1/2 to the negative 2, the negative flips the fraction to 2, so 2 squared is 4, 6 times 4 is 24. So that's the right equation. And there's 5 marks, so if you have this one, you get a mark. If you have this one, you get a mark. If you have worked out the b, you get to a half, you get a mark. If you worked out the a to 6, you get a mark. And if you wrote down the equation, 5 marks in total. And one more to do, number 19. Y equals a, b, x over c. So, before we start, we have to realign the chart. So here we are. So So let's realign the chart because we should have the x's in descending order. So 0 is first, so we have a 2. 0 then is a 4, we have a 6. Then we have an 8, is 18. Then we have a 12. Now the x values are in order. So that means that when x is equal to 0, so if I have a 0 right put in here, I'll get a to be 1. So when you put 0 into this equation, the 0 value in this table, a will be 1. Because you put a 0 here, b to the 0 is 1, you get the a value. Now, the base, which is your b, is your ratio. So your base is your ratio. So your ratio is your y values. So you got 6 divided by 2 is 3. You got 18 divided by 6 is 3. You got 54 divided by 18, which is 3. So it means your ratio is 3. So that means your base is 3. And c is the increment change in the x. So c is, there's a 4, and a 4, and a 4. So c is 4. So the equation is y equals a b x over c. So a is 2, b is 3, c is 4. And there's 5 marks. So if you rearrange your table, you got to mark. If you got a, you got to mark. If you got your ratio, you got to mark. If you got c is 4, you got to mark. If you wrote down an equation like that, you got to mark. 5 marks in total. That gives a total of 10 for that page. Total of all your sheets on the bottom. And when you do, go back to the first sheet and notice that you have the total is at a 48. Put your total at a 48, divide it into your numerator, convert it to a decimal, move your decimal 2 places to the right, you have your percent. And hopefully, in the first 13 videos, you know what the exponential function is doing. And if you like my video, click the like button, click the subscribe button, visit my math website, www.mathfullyexplained.com, to find more information about me, my videos, and the content. That's the content on my YouTube channel called Math Fully Explained. Thank you for viewing my video. Hope the video was some help to you. Bye-bye.